Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatin Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktin Bhavadir Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devagi Nandanaya Cha Nandakopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, text number 7. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation and the chapter name is Questions by King Parīkṣit. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Yad-anugrahāt mato Brahman deharambo asya dhatubihi yatra chaya hetuna va bhavanto jnanate yatha. Word by word meaning. Please repeat behind me. Yat, as it is. Adhatu mataha, without being materially constituted. Brahman, O land Brahmana. Deha, the material body. Arambha, the beginning of. Asya, of the living being. Dhatubihi, the matter. Yadarchaya, without cause, accidental. Hetuna, due to some cause. Va, ether. Bhavantaha, your good self. Jnanate, as you may know it. Yatha, so you inform me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sabhaya Charana of the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Translation. O land Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this? For it is known to you. Purport. Mahārāja Parīkṣit, being a typical devotee, is not only satisfied by confirming the importance of hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the representative of Brahmaji by disciplic succession, but he is still more anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, all questions that may arise in the mind of a serious student must be cleared by the statement of the authority. A person on the path of devotional service may inquire from his spiritual master all about the spiritual position of God and the living beings. From the Bhagavad Gita as well as from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is known that qualitatively the Lord and the living beings are one. The living beings in the conditioned state of material existence is subjected to many transmigrations by continuous changing of the material body. But what are the causes of the material embodiment of the part and parcel of the Lord? Mahārāja Parīkṣit inquires about this very important matter for the benefit of all classes of candidates on the path of self-realization and devotional service to the Lord. Indirectly, it is confirmed that the Supreme Being, the Lord, makes no such material changes of the body. He is spiritually whole with no difference between his body and his soul. Unlike the conditioned soul, the liberated living being who associate with the Lord in person are also exactly like Lord. Only the conditioned souls awaiting liberation are subjected to change of bodies. How was the process first begun? In the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. This inquiry is essential for immunity to all kind of offenses on the path of devotional service. Even if one is fixed in devotional service like Mahārāja Parīkṣit, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master all about this. In other words, the spiritual master must also be well versed and learned so that he may be able to answer all these inquiries from the devotees. Thus, one who is not well versed in the authorized scriptures and not able to answer all such relevant inquiries should not pose as a spiritual master for the matter of material gain. It is illegal to become a spiritual master if one is unable to deliver the disciple. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalake Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashasha Desha Tarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, the sloka, Parīkṣit Maharaj asking question to Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So, the questions asked by Parīkṣit Maharaj, it looked like it may be a basic questions, but since it is the beginning of Bhagavatam, he is posing himself as that slowly learning person. So, gradually learning person. So, he is the initial stage. So initial stage, he has the understanding of the soul and the body, but he is asking the questions, how the body is acquired by the living entities. It is getting the body, or is there any cause, any other root causes there? So he is asking the question from the Brahmana, who is Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So this kind of questions, whatever the questions we have, we should ask the spiritual master. These are the spiritual questions. This cannot be asked to any learned person, any scientist, or even doctors. You cannot go and ask what is the difference between soul and body and how their transmigration is happening, because this is not possible for them to answer. Even though they are materially qualified, they are materially highly educated, but they don't have this kind of knowledge about the body, about the soul, about the repetition of birth and death. These are the transcendental knowledge. This knowledge is not there with those kind of scientists or the highly educated persons. So this kind of questions should be asked with the spiritual master. So how to identify a spiritual master? Because in order to approach, we cannot directly approach the Supreme Lord. It is not possible to approach the Supreme Lord directly. We need, through a spiritual master only, we can approach the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So even if you approach the spiritual master, through spiritual master, we will connect with Radharani. So through Radharani, we will connect with Krishna. So this is the actual and bona fide method to connect with the Supreme Lord. Because the way, our constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord. So the topmost servant of the Supreme Lord is Srimati Radharani. So first, we have to qualify ourselves to induced in front of the spiritual master. Then the spiritual master make us a qualified person. Then the spiritual master take us to Radharani. Then Radharani will take us to the Lord, in front of the Lord. So in Sri Sampradaya, they will call it as a Pancha-samskara. So when you want to be a qualified person through a spiritual master, in front of the spiritual master, if you want to connect with a spiritual master, they will call it as a Panja Samskara. So there are 5 kind of activities, 5 kind of things they will do, they will teach. So first thing is the spiritual master, he will put a shank and chakra, means the shank, the conch shell and the wheel, the weather. These are the things which are kept in the hands of Lord Vishnu. So those mudra, they will put in the shoulder of that person. With that, they will make a heat the iron, that is the symbol will be there. Those, with the heat, they will touch in the body, then that mudra will come in the body. So this is the first thing you are entering. The Panja Samskara, this is one of the one. This is the first thing. So after they added the Shankha and Chakra in the body, then they will take the Tilaka. So we are using Tilakam, and in the Tilaka, we will put a Tilak. We will put in the 12 parts of the body, 12 places in the body. The upper part of the body, we will put 12 places with the 12 mantra, 12 names of Lord Vishnu we will use, and we will put that mantra. So this is the second one. The spiritual master teach the person, this is the way you have to put the tilak in your body, or the 12 places, and the mantra we will teach. Then this is the second one. So Panja Samskara, this is the second one. Third one, the spiritual master will give the Dasya name. So in the Sri Sampradaya, it is the Dasya name is like it will come as some words Keshava Ramanuja Dasa. So they will give like that name. And at the end they will add Ramanuja Dasa like that. So that means he is the Dasa of Ramanuja. Ramanuja is the Dasa of the Supreme Lord. So through Ramanuja they will go. So this is the way they used to give the name in the Sri Sampradaya. So this is the third process, changing the name. Fourth process, they will give the spiritual master will give the mantra to the person. So that is confidential. That mantra, that person, that whoever received the mantra, they will repeat the mantra in their entire life. And this is the fourth one. And what is the fifth one? Last one. So the last one, he will teach how to worship the Supreme Lord and how to align with the other devotees. So how to behave with the other devotees, how you get the knowledge from the other devotees. All this knowledge, the spiritual master impart to that person. So this is called Panja Samskara. So if one person, if the person is taken this 5 process, then he is qualified. Here, qualified disabled. Yes, he approached the spiritual master. The spiritual master gave this 5. In ISKCON also, the same thing will be there, but we won't put the mudra. Apart from mudra, all the 4 processes will be there. So the tilaka also, they will teach us the tilaka, and the name change will be there, and the spiritual master will give the mantra, and they will teach us the 10 offenses of the holy name of the Lord, and in front of Agni, we will do parikrama, and we will do the yajna, and in that yajna, we will promise that in my lifetime, I will follow these 4 regulative principles and chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this is the process we are following in the ISKCON. So this is the mantra, we did the initiation. We call it the initiation. So initiation means the person who is getting initiated, starting his spiritual journey. So starting spiritual journey means, because it is not, once you initiated means it is not nothing, everything is over. It's not like that. Initiation, in the name itself, we can understand it is starting of the spiritual journey. So the starting of the spiritual journey, we may have so many anarthas with us, and so many sins also will be there. So when the spiritual master accepting us as a student, disciple, first of all, he will take away all of our sins first. Because this disciple, he is turned into the path of self-realization and in the path of God realization. So first of all, once the person stand into that place, so let me remove all the sins from this person so that he can progress in bhakti. Because if there is so much of, yes, so many births, anadikala, anarthas, anadikala sins are there with us, so many sins loaded with us. So with the sins, if we cannot progress, because in the material world designed in that way, whatever the sins we did in the past lives, so we need to repent for that. So for that only this life we got this life. So if you are repenting, then life will go on the repentance only. So that is the reason. So this person is coming on the path of self-realization. Then the spiritual master, what he will give though? He will take away all the papas. Then the person is purified. That's why it is called, getting the initiation is called the second birth for the person. That's the reason he is giving the Dasya name. So this person he understands his position. So the disciple, he understands his position as a servant. So that means he can qualify to take the name of the Lord and serve the Lord. So they are making us qualified. Then slowly we are progressing in the life by chanting the holy name of the Lord and doing the service. So this is the way a self-realized path will starting from us. So this cannot be understood by our modern scientist or by any material educationally qualified person. Because these are all from our Vedas or in the Upanishad. From there, we are following this traditionally. So this tradition cannot understand by our modern scientists. So we cannot expect this kind of activities from the modern scientists, because for them, this body is the all in all, and they cannot differentiate the body and soul. But only the differentiation is there. We can understand through the scriptures only. We can understand that body is different and soul is different, and the soul is taking the repetitive birth. So there is no death for the soul; it is taking repetitive birth. So in the one point of view, we can say that all this materially qualified persons, they don't have the breadth of spiritual knowledge, because they cannot accept this, because they are saying in everything they wanted to see everything tested, and they will accept this. They will test and they will accept this. But when, yes, and there's a proverb is there, where your scientific knowledge is ending, from there our spiritual knowledge is getting started. So without the scientific knowledge, with the scientific knowledge, we cannot understand the spirituality. And also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that bhaktyanam abhijanadi. So only the devotees can understand me. So it is not possible for the materially qualified person cannot understand by reading the books. The person need to be a devotee of the Lord by hearing about the Supreme Lord and reading about the Supreme Lord and accepting a spiritual master. First of all, he need to have the faith on the Supreme, faith on the God. Then he can become a devotee. Then after that, he can understand who is the Lord. So just with the material study, we cannot understand the Supreme Lord. So that's why Krishna himself is saying that Bhaktyanam Abhijanadi. Only Bhakta, only become a devotee, then only they can understand me. That's what Krishna is saying. So there is here the question asked by Parikṣit Maharaj, whether we got this body, it is accidentally or some causes. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that, so this body, anyway, he talked about the body in the second chapter, he talked about the body is temporary. It is once the living entity who are taking birth in this material world, definitely they are going to die. So he asked Arjuna not to worry. And he is saying that how you are changing the dresses. Once that dress is not useful and is torn, then how you are changing your dress. Similarly, the soul will change the body, so not to worry. So all this knowledge given by this Supreme Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And also in the further chapters, Krishna is explaining that whatever at the Andhakalecha Mamyeva. So at the time of death, at the time of leaving the body, what is our consciousness? Based on that, you will get the next life. Like that, Krishna already declared in Bhagavad Gita. We told in Bhagavad Gita. So it is not accidentally we won't get the next body. It is not accidental. but what is the consciousness we have at the time of death? So this is the similar kind of answer Śukadeva Gosvāmī will give to Parīkṣit Maharaj. But since we know about the Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that based on our consciousness, we will get the next body. So that is the reason we are trying to elevate the consciousness from the lower taste to the higher taste. Because when we are in the material world, the people who are not in the path of spirituality, not in the path of self-realization, their taste is called lower taste. They are satisfied with the lower taste. So what are the lower taste? Enjoying in this material world is the lower taste. Enjoying the material things is the material. Eating, sleeping, smoking, drinking, seeing the movie, seeing the play, seeing the sports, and speaking about the politics. These are all the lower taste. So when people are without the spiritual knowledge, then they're not sure about anything about the life, why we are born over here, all those stuffs. They will be enjoying in that only. They will be in that docilely, they will be there in that pool of lower taste only. So, but when the soul understand this position, okay, I am born in this material world for a purpose. So what is the purpose? When the soul trying to understand, in the living entity trying to understand what is the purpose of my life. It is not just to enjoy, take a family life and to beget your children and grown them up, eat and sleep. It is not a life. So there must be some reason behind that. So the reason, the living entity who is trying to understand this reason, that person is in the path of self-realization. So it is very, very rare. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagunam Janmanam Ante. So the person who is getting this jnana, it is after many births, is one fortunate soul getting into the path of this self-realization. In that also, not everyone will succeed in that, because this Maya, this material world is so much attractive. Not everyone will get qualified completely, because in between itself they will go here and there. They will trapped by this Maya. So that is that's the reason we have to have the spiritual master to show us the right path. So spiritual master. So that is the reason we are before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are reciting the mantra. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So what we are saying. So I am in the pool of Ajnana, with the darkness. So my spiritual master who is give the jnana, the torchlight to me to get out of this material world. So the Lord sent us the spiritual master here, and he is giving this material world is full of darkness. So we are seeing that sun, moon. This is the light, it is there. But that light will be useful to be in this material world. But here the darkness is talking about the jnana. So if you don't have the proper jnana, why we born in this material world, how to get out of this material world, that is darkness. If you are not there, that jnana, then we are in the darkness. So who will give that jnana? Only the spiritual master can give that jnana to us. So when that is the torchlight. So that jnana is the torchlight. So when the spiritual master gives the knowledge to us that you are not supposed to be here, so you need to make yourself ready. The material world is full of miseries. Your very birth, your human birth is to get out of this material world. So when we get this jnana and when we follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord, then what will happen? Then we will be accepted by the spiritual master. Then we realize, and when we are following the spiritual master, when we surrender to the spiritual master, then spiritual master take us to the next level, and he will give whatever the required jnana he will give, and we will the path of self-realization. So this realization, it won't happen immediately. Okay, today I surrendered to the master, I got, no. That is the reason to understand, even though we are in the path of self-realization, we are doing the services, because we are the Dasa. So Dasa means we have to do we have to serve. So first of all, we have to serve the spiritual master. And the spiritual master teaches how to serve Radharani, how to help Radharani. And Radharani will teach how to serve the Supreme Lord. So this is the way. So Radharani only, she will only do the service to the Supreme Lord, and we will help to Radharani to make that service perfect. So that is the reason. Through that, Lord will come to know that he will come to know that this person is my Dasa. So he is serving me. So how you come to know? Radharani need to recommend this person is doing that. So even though the Lord is this is the way we have to approach the Supreme Lord. So otherwise, we cannot approach the Supreme Lord by our own intelligence and own how much you are trying endeavor with our own endeavor. We cannot approach the Supreme Lord directly. This is the path. That is the reason spiritual master playing the important role in this material world. Everybody has a spiritual master. If you heard this Srimad Bhagavatam, everybody, even Vyasadeva also had a spiritual master. Prahlad Maharaj had a spiritual master like Narada Muni, and Parīkṣit Maharaj is as a spiritual master, and Dhruva Maharaj, he also got a spiritual master. Everybody, without a spiritual master, nobody can pass this material world. So accepting a spiritual master is very, very important step in this very life. So once we accept a spiritual master, then at least we are in the path of the spirituality. Maybe if we are not able to complete our spiritual journey in this path, then at least the next life also Lord will give that opportunity to connect. The spiritual master will be available, and they will take up the further. Yes, we need to go to on the particular place, Delhi. We are going to go to Delhi. From Bangalore to Delhi, we have to go. We just reached some Maharashtra, we reached Bombay, we reached. From there again we need to go. So maybe in this life we reached till Bombay. From the next life, spiritual master will take from Bombay to the our spiritual journey will start from where we left. That's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. Neha vikramana soste pratyabhayo na vidyate swalpam abhyasya dharmasya trayato magato bhayat. So this is the way we have to follow the spiritual master and we get it trained. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. We will meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.